that cold opening. Oh man, it's that time. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, different thing that we're doing today because it's a hell of 100th episode celebration. Wanted to do more for this 100th episode celebration. Unfortunately, it's hectic week last week and everything, and it's just one of those things that happen in life with you. But at the same time, this is exciting to want to come up here and thank you guys for subscribing, being here with us for Nerds Around. Pretty much the show has started in 2018, and the fact that we are now here with 100 episodes is because of all of your guys' support and being there. This episode is actually going to be dedicated to family with us here now and who have passed on. And again, I want to thank everyone who last week for all the support and everything. Thank you guys. That was really appreciated. And it was a very difficult week. It still is difficult dealing with the situation, but at the same time, family members who we've all lost would want us to be here to do what we love, and that is just talking nerdy and doing this show. So we got a great episode for you guys. It's our 100th episode, and Sammy, what is up? Don't worry, the guys are here. They're watching. They see the message. And just to show you that the guys are here, let's exit this solo layout. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
So we wanna saludos to everyone. We want to salute to family. We want to salute to another 100 episodes. Again, guys, this is the Nerds of the Round.
Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
There we go. That fire beat was by no other than LuCyph, who is back on Nerds of the Round. What is
that
up,
warms my
Lou?
heart every time, man.
Yes,
Lou,
thank
I
you.
appreciate you so much, brother.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah.
Arelis is #1 fan right now. Mr. Delgado, you're #1 fan.
Arelis has been here since the Mandalorian.
Day one.
Yeah.
What up, George?
George, what's going on, brother?
So we want to thank everyone. One of our guests is just a little right running behind. He's going to be here. He's another important guest of the show. So
when
just so
he shows up,
when
you'll
he
know
shows
exactly
up, you'll know
why
who
he's
it
late.
is. But I'm going to run down some stats with you guys. But I want to thank everyone. We want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel, who has shared the content, who's just been here, likes to talk nerdy, who's been a guest and supporting. I'll go around the table and thank Lou, because LuCyph is the one who designed that fire beat that you guys hear. Check out his album, The Agenda, and he has a great interview that's coming up with Catch the Craze, who is in the chat. What is up, Rob? How you doing?
Yeah, Nabu Lopez. Yeah.
So, really quick before we all go through our answers and talks about it, I want to go through some 100th episode stats that we want to throw out there. So, our top 5 episodes that you can see on our YouTube is the superhero sex tape episode, which is at #1 at 239 views.
I was not a part of that.
Me and Tom were a part of that. I'm so mad.
But one person is gonna. But it's that aired April 27 in 2018. Creator series starring featuring A.A. Rubin aired February 2021. That had 220 views. Wait, we got a fan for you. Here we go. Yeah, I told you, you guys were gonna have fun. I told you guys were gonna have fun, George. I gotta hear this. You, Sammy, and Lou all in the room and all that. Creator series with Enrique aired November 2020, 176 views. Character creation, which aired December 19, 2020, 171 views, and our live on the 15th had 165 views. That's our top 5 on YouTube. Our audio plays, because not a lot of people know that we also have an audio podcast. There was a lot of stuff we did in audio too, which includes 3 episodes, which I'll name is our Love, Death, and Robots episode. Yep.
That was so fun. Honestly, I remember being like,
I gotta hear.
probably one of our most excited Oh, did you rewatch
it was fun talking about that.
And we all were like, "You better watch that." Watch that.
Yeah, no, Love, Death, and Robots was a good time. I mean, I think we were gaslighted for when season 2's coming. I don't know. I hope it happens soon.
I hope.
Lou, I recommend you watch it. You would love it.
I will check it out.
Anthology series on Netflix.
Put it on
if you guys haven't seen Robots, watch it now.
I mean, you're probably gonna watch it by yourself.
Yes.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creative series, Legends of Atara, which again, those are your boys, Tony, who you brought onto the show. We got to interview them, and there's a special thing about that episode, which I'm going to cover in a second. That aired on June 28, 2019. And The Boys, we recap season 1 of The Boys audio podcast that aired on August 29, 2019. Those are our top 3 audio episodes. The podcast audio has over 745 plays, which is pretty dope to date. Our majority base on audio is in the US, followed by Ireland and UK. So we're listening to in Ireland, guys.
Yo.
I guess that's the inspiration for Kyver comes from the fan base. Right. I guess I don't. He's not doing you guys justice, and we apologize.
You can mostly listen to an Apple podcast.
I'm drinking Jameson for you guys. Don't worry about it.
Well, we've been listening to an Apple podcast and Spotify. YouTube, majority of our base comes from the US, but we're also our next biggest base is in India and the United Kingdom. Thank you guys. We love you guys. We love everyone all around the world. We're getting international in this bad boy. Our first guest, the very first guest, because not a lot of people know Nerds It Around started originally on the Geeks Unlimited channel. And I always refer to this as the dark episode. Lawrence refers to this as the dark episode. This was the dark episode because Lawrence and Mayhem Mike were the first guest. Mike is just running late. He's going to come on. You guys will see Mayhem Mike. He's awesome. Lawrence was one of the first guests on the show with Mayhem Mike. And I thank you for that, Law.
From guest to co-host.
There's another great stat.
On up.
That's a come up.
Right?
Well, we're getting into it. Tony's first time hosting, not being a full-time host, for hosting was in June of 2018. He hosted the episode where me and Alex were his first guests.
Yes. Talking about behind the tables.
Yeah, just getting into comics and everything. And we all talk about the stories and all that, how we all got into comics and how we get into this industry. Law joined, and this is why the Legends of Atara episode is so dope. It's because that's when Law was bumped up to full-time host, and then the Nerds team.
Oh, wow. That's right. That's right.
He was just reoccurring guest. He would just always hang out with us.
You couldn't get rid of me if you wanted to.
Like me? I'm the guy on the couch.
Well,
you have my old spot.
Tony used to call Lawrence the resident Snorlax.
Yep.
Because he was like, yeah,
he wanted a fucking unique title every time he got introduced, and they just got.
I remember that.
They just got more ridiculous and ridiculous.
Oh, that's definitely not. Look, Lou's here and all that, and Ari, we just went over those stats for you, brother. What is up? Your episode is trending on number 2 on the Nerds and Around channel right now at 222 views, bro. And guys, check out Ari Rubin. Again, he has some great stuff with the comic books, with everything. And check out the episode. Another person we got to give a big thanks. You don't see her a lot in front of the camera is my wife, Jessie Bonet, who has edited every single episode, with the exception of the lives.
You are the best, and we love you so much.
Yes.
We've been editor, the director.
With Jess, all things are possible.
Yeah.
I give a big shout out to Steven Vera, who was the first cameraman on the show for the dark episode. Was in his basement. The wall was very, 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 very dark. Yep. Yay, wifey.
As you can see, now we all have like better lighting and whatnot, you know.
Yes.
Women in creative are awesome, and Jessie is a shining light on that. We're eventually going to pull her on the show. Again, the first creative series was Sean Hernandez and James Peer, Legends of Atara. You guys could listen to that on Spotify. They're a great duo, guys. What is up, Will?
Hey, what's going on, brethren?
Now, a lot of people don't know Nerds It Around started in 2017, but officially the channel launched in 2018. And we have been cranking up. And again, honestly, I couldn't do it without these guys. Cheers to Tony and Law. And cheers to Lou for dropping that fire beat.
Cheers to you guys.
Salud.
And also cheers to all of you guys who watch, subscribe, who've been guests, who communicate to us. We wanted to do 2020 was a crazy year. We all know that, and we decided to do the lives and interaction and getting to talk to you guys. This has been something dope and awesome. And again, we thank you guys from the bottom of our heart. We say crack a beer, get a drink, pour one out. Join us right now with that celebration and to another 100 episodes.
Another 100.
Yep.
I would definitely say I would not be here, and I don't think this channel, any of us would be here without our friends, family, and community. You guys are the best. I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, because I know it's been rough for all of us here around. Like, life has been just knocking us on the chin, but you guys have helped cushion the blow. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Yeah, and this has been like one of the constants during this during this pandemic, and one of the things looking forward to, because as we all the days have just been meshing and coalescing together during the pandemic, and just being able to hang out with you guys twice a week doing what we love. And
time out, not to cut you off, but someone has to go back and count all that, because I'm not doing it. Me personally,
look, I'm just taking a sip from one glass. I'm not trying to get wasted here.
No, I'm saying, like, if we actually counted how much we've drank per all the episodes we've shot, oof, that'd be enough to have an open bar.
We
for,
think
a party of 300.
We thank the Dennis Knight episode for the majority of our drinks. Yeah,
we promise you, our livers are still in working conditions.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes, George.
Speak for yourself.
Yes.
But continue, so my bad.
No, look, I'm just happy we've been able to meet a lot of creative folks through this medium, and that while this show was something to do for us in person, and I do miss that in-person interactivity, the fact that we were able to get over the hump and kind of work the Zoom instead of the Skype and just turn it into this has allowed us to speak to people all over the country and learn their stories, see what they're creating, back their Kickstarters, and just for me personally, get into a whole new world of indie comic creating that I didn't know of, or I wasn't a part of, or just kind of just not aware of it. And so, we've been reading some really awesome work from folks, and I'm excited and stoked to continue down this path. So yes, thank you to all. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Law. Thank you, Lou, for this, for this beat. And I say thank you to Mike, who keeps believing my mustache is fake. I don't know, but thank you all. This is great.
I just have to ask, when you met Sam from Catch the Craze, did you guys have a rap battle? Did you have a rap battle?
No.
Okay, so this is gonna be official.
I'm so sad.
I want to see the Crazy Man and LuCyph on Nerds do a rap battle. Just go at it. I think that would be awesome. I don't think.
You know what it is? I'm more of a writer than I am a battler, right? Back in my day, you wouldn't wanted to see 18-year-old LuCyph. He was not nice.
No, but I think that was cool too, because that's the connections too that we wanted to create, people meeting people and everything. And I think that was awesome that you guys also got to link up and actually you guys got to talk and everything, which I thought was dope.
Yeah, they were great guys. The interview was great. They had great energy. Definitely, like I said, this is definitely a cool thing to do. I've never done this, so thank you guys for opening my eyes to this. I didn't realize I'd be like, I was like, this is fun. I was like, yes, yeah.
He's about to come at you with the fucking afro and the bell bottoms, yo.
But we got the next man hour, who was also one of the first guests along with Lawrence. He finally made it in, late as ever, always Mayhem Mike.
Oh, look at this guy! Look at this guy, late.
Listen, every time
it could not be 100 episodes without me being late. So fall back, fake beard. I don't believe in your stash.
Wait. I made something just for that. I made something just for that. Stash versus Mayhem. Let's
Ladies and
go.
gentlemen, it's your boy Mayhem Mike. You can find me at Pure Mayhem. That's not important. What's important is we need to talk about Tone from Across the Hall Stash. At first, you would believe he was struggling. And then he managed to create a wonder out of that fake Mario Brothers looking stash.
You're right.
And then he had the nerve to Dr. Robotnik connect it to. I don't even know what that beard is even. I look like one of the characters you make up playing D&D, bro. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Oh man, this
Take
thing's
20 points from your charisma and add it to your luck. It's not working. It's not working.
So I promise everyone we're going to get a WandaVision. I just, I want to,
because get a lot out. There's 100 episodes.
This is 100 episodes.
Like this is the compilation. So bear with us for a little bit.
But Mike, you missed the stats. You missed it because you were late.
Listen, man,
you're always late.
I had to work.
No, it's all good. Listen, we thank you for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's let you know what Mayhem Mike is doing. Mayhem Mike is doing a lot of great stuff. Again, I credit Mike with helping out Geeks Unlimited too, because again the show started there. Then we branched out. Mike did Hyro Geekix, and now you can catch him on This Week in Pop Culture on Sundays. And you can also catch him on The Stash and The Last Stop on the Air.
He said The Stash.
What's the show? The Take on Wednesdays.
I mean, that might be a thing. Now the Take. Tone Stash.
He's working on that. He's working on that episode right now.
Working on it.
Wow. What is this right now?
Time out.
Yo, all right. First of all, no. First of all, I've been growing this shit for like a fucking year.
Struggle Street.
There's no Struggle Street. It's been like this. It's been like this for like 11 of those 12 months. So let's cut the nonsense.
First of all, let me shout out a good friend of mine, Will DeVille. This is not my show, so I can't give out your credentials. But Will, what's up? We've definitely podcast. We were actually streaming together at one point, and he's actually from when we had our video con. We had our whole digital con. So shout out to you and thanks for the support, not just to me, but these guys here. Second of all, listen, Stash, Tony. I'm sorry, I said Stash. Your name is Tony. I got some like argan oil, castor oil mix I can give you. You know what I'm saying? And your stuff could be flowing. Okay.
I don't need all this. I don't need all this. I do the mustache.
He just wants the goatee. Let him rock his goatee.
I don't need all this.
Let them know, Rellis. The stash is not a problem right now.
It's sure not.
But we gotta say, Tony coined the phrase. Tony, you can go right ahead, right into that phrase. Let's go. What is that famous phrase? A tone.
Oh, because we're talking about the show.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
17 minutes already. Let's go.
Yes. As we dive into our analysis of the newest episode of WandaVision, as always with Nerds of the Round, this is spoiler full territory. Yes. So you know how it is. Tony Stark has died. Pietro is in it. Evan Peters is Pietro. Is this part of the universe? I don't fucking know, but we're here for it, and let's dive into it.
Team Cap all day.
I've been warned. That's it. I don't want to hear nothing.
But before we start getting more into the episode, I do want to make two announcements. First of all, if you guys want to follow some great links, we've been posting them every Tuesday. We kind of change it up. It's called the Nerds Network. We're sharing all of our friends' links there. So every week we change it up with new links. You'll see Mayhem's links there. You'll see Cash the Craze links there on all of our Tuesday episodes. So I posted some new links there, the Nerds Network in the description. So after the show, go to there, check it out. This includes gaming podcasts. This includes game streams and all that. Also, this Friday, we are dropping another creative series interview with Jeff Ryder, who just launched his Kickstarter.
Just launched? That shit got funded today.
Yes, it did. Fully funded.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been hit, like every person who comes on the show has been like consistent. And I don't want to taboo like say it, but like almost everyone who's came on the show got the Kickstarter like funded.
It's true, but they've also created some really dope stuff, and it's worth the funding. And you should guys just be throwing your money at it.
100%.
I'm excited to be getting the physical copies of my stuff from Wayward Raven, my stuff from Catch the Craze, and now my stuff from for Sherlock and Holmes. I'm very excited to see all those physical copies.
So we're gonna jump into this one because I know Mike has been waiting. He's been talking about this for every again. You can catch him on This Week in Pop. This Week in Pop Culture. I can't say it. I'm already there. It's on Stash, and yeah, they're going in.
I see it already.
It's going to be a new thing.
Mike is going to go ham tonight.
Hey, yo, TDS, what's up?
I don't need no
Yo!
I want to thank
everybody. First of all, David, the fuck you doing up? It's 9:20. It's 9:20.
No, this is the savage tone that people don't see. That's the savage tone now.
Don't you come for my boy. Tell him what it is, Morgan. Tell him what it is.
So we want to get into Monica's DNA being rewritten. It's just a backdoor of bringing in the mutants into the MCU Mike, I know you've been talking about a lot of stuff. What do you think?
Unlike everything, I called it, man. I called it. I knew they were going to give us a backdoor for her to give her powers. I'm more or less interested in how the mutants are going to come into this place. We all know this is a prelude, obviously, to the multiverse of madness, right? So we're obviously expecting to see Doctor Strange, but how are the mutants coming in? There's some range of theories that, you know, with every snap created a cosmic wave, so then that affected the Fantastic Four in some ways, and that they're somewhere out there. But when they said they couldn't see Monica Rambeau's stats, that you couldn't see anything, it was nothing but light, and it kind of looks like her costume, I was like, oh, she about to be bad. But I don't know if I can curse it, but she about to be bad buttery here, and I was waiting for it.
You know better. You know what it is.
You can fucking curse there.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck. All right. Well, this shit's about to be badass.
Mike, you came in here hot and off the rails from jump,
but I
and then you were like, "Yo, can
I can't curse. I can't curse. Oh my god. Oh shit. I'm gonna melt out live if I say some cuss words.
Listen, but nonetheless, I really love Geraldine, Monica Rambeau's character. I love the actress for her. I really see really great things for her as far as like movie wise, and maybe another series, a spinoff series. We'll get into that maybe later. But the fact that they couldn't see her stats lets me know that she's going to get her powers, and we're going to get mutants. I don't know what else we can possibly get. Metahumans, sure. Mutants, I don't even know if they can even use that phrase. I'm here for it. Disney, take all of my monies. Let me give you the password to my account. Take it. I'm here for it.
So Lou, I want to get your thoughts on this.
I'm thinking it's a reverse House of M. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Don't worry, it's on the list. But
okay.
Lou, I want to get your thoughts on this. Just to give you an idea, Monica Rambeau. If you saw Captain Marvel, right?
Right. Yep.
So her character is the little girl from the movie. So that's the connection.
I love it.
I love it. This is what we do. This is what we do.
Like the cinnamon roll we have to protect at all costs.
Lose today I learned face is like what we live for.
Hold on.
And then we did a spoiler free, and we thinking everybody else who knew the spoilers, and Lou was like, "Really?"
I was waiting to drop that nugget on him today. I was like, "Lou, you know what this is?"
Where's the
I love the nuggets.
Yo, he's about to write this shit down. He's about to watch it and be like, "Yo, well, guess what I learned?"
Oh my god, it is Christmas.
It would be funny if your son already knew this. And he just thought you knew it.
Right.
He does those kind of things to me.
Like,
I did that. Yeah.
I promise at some point we're gonna have like a segment where we just like introduce new things to Lou and just have him react to it.
Wait,
Lou, could be called Lou. Did you know?
Spin-off show.
Lou, as you know, right? I'm with it.
But no, I want to get Lou's thoughts on this, is because so. Just to give you an idea, so we all know about the X-Men and everything. We know mutants. So we're seeing how Monica's getting her powers because she's a superhero in the comics known as Photon. She's also had the moniker of Captain Marvel. But like the rewriting of her DNA, do you knowing the X-Men, do you think that this is a way for them to introduce the X-Men, since they're rewriting her DNA and we're seeing this, and there's been hints of this on the show, and I'll talk to you about those hints.
Well, right. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but X-Men are born into mutiny, right? Whereas, most of the time, right?
Yes.
Correct. But there was an X gene that was created. So one of the things that they've touched up on the show is about this thing about these, we're going to call them microwaves. And they're talking about that this is stuff that's been around since the Big Bang, which could have created mutants. This is something that when Thanos did the snap and engulfed the world. Then the snap happened 2 more times with Tony Stark and Hulk, and now you have Scarlet Witch doing this. And when Monica was tossed through the that wall that Scarlet Witch had created, her DNA started changing. So that's where I want to get your thoughts. Do you feel like, seeing X-Men and everything, would this be a backdoor for Marvel to introduce mutants?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, like you could do a whole new series on the X-Men if you wanted to. If you could that actually turns into a much bigger spin-off, off to the side, where you can actually build upon that, because there's so many stories just with X-Men alone. Like you could really just go back into it. because me and my son literally just finished watching the animated show, like literally 15 minutes before I got on this, and I was just like, "This was Dad's favorite show." He was just like, "Really?" And he was like completely in it, but I was like, time to go to bed. See ya.
Fair enough.
Yep. I know that life.
Yeah.
Well, you were gonna jump in on that one. I know you had something.
So essentially, just for point of clarification, the not the X gene, but the mutant gene that everyone possesses before they get their powers essentially is dormant until puberty or till some event causes their mutant powers to emerge.
Yep.
Right.
So essentially, these people could have been in the world for mad long, and instead of them, being a thing that because granted, I know there's like some clarification where Apocalypse, Logan, these guys have been out for thousands and hundreds of years, but they could have still exist just in pockets because they're legends. Essentially, you can argue that Apocalypse would be a legend. Logan is a shadow agent. Like, people will know of him but don't know who he is.
Right.
So everyone else, you can still get their story when the snap was the catalyst to give them their powers. Now you have to deal with the ramifications of my best friend has powers and burned down his house. And it's that because everyone goes, how are you going to get that? People look at you differently now that you have powers, kind of thing. Like that struggle that all mutants really have. Essentially, you're going to have that when their powers show. And in the MCU, if they tackle it correctly, you basically introduce a way of like, this is the new norm where, everyone's getting used to, life after the snap or the second snap. And, we're getting back to life as normal. Boom. My best friend, is a fire dude. My other best friend can't touch people. And all these things just start happening in the world. And you're now looking at it like, I want to love and trust this person, but I don't know if they can, their powers can get out of control and kill me.
Tony?
So I have been on this soapbox since the announcement of Phase 4. My soapbox, and that is because WandaVision was supposed to, air after this specific movie. I think it's a mixture of all of these theories. I think the mutant gene comes from the Eternals and comes from humans coming from the Eternals. We're gonna have Eternals, we're gonna have Deviants, we're gonna see what happens. Thank you. Yeah, that's me. We're gonna see either a post credit or something talking about how humans have a bit of us and it is dormant, and that's kind of it, and it just becomes like a recessive gene for what it is. Then we have the multiple snaps happening on Earth because while the snaps affected the entire universe, they started on Earth. The epicenter was Earth, and they happened 3 times. So I think we're gonna potentially get the X-Men from that. I think Wanda being able to just give powers and change powers, I think that's just kind of being a part of her ability to change reality. And I think Monica Rambeau is getting her powers kind of akin to what happened to Carol. She gets the explosion. That explosion just kind of gives her all of her powers. So we're seeing something kind of like this where Wanda's doing the same thing for Monica. So I don't think every mutant's going to come from like the Hex. I think Monica will be like just her. And then, there's going to be a moment where mutants are going to come out because of the 3 snaps that happened.
I got a theory. I'm going to jump in there.
We're eager right now.
No, Mayhem's ready to go. Mayhem's ready to go. I know he is. He's cock-footed, ready to go. Like, click, let's go. So I've been calling it, saying that this is going to be an introduction to Monica Rambeau getting powers because we know she's Photon in the comics. For us, who's in the comics, she's been Captain Marvel and all. So I was like, they're going to explain some way how she's going to get powers. They wouldn't have shown that but I think it leads into a bigger thing because again, it goes back to the conversation that they were having with Darcy when she was pointing out about these microwaves going back to the Big Bang, which again relates to Tony, what he's saying with the Eternals. We're going to get an explanation because the Celestials aren't the Eternals. The Celestials were beings that created multiple races throughout the universe. And they were also known for helping create the mutants, the deviants, and all this, and everything like that. So we're probably going to get that. And simple fact is that, now Disney did the biggest acquisition when they're like, no, we want our X-Men back, and just purchased the whole properties. But you had it when she said that those microwaves were around the Big Bang, which again leads into that. Then you have the fact that, Thanos did the snap. So 5 years, there could have been people born from that or like gotten their powers activated. Then the 2 times that it happened in Avengers. But here's something interesting is that we saw how that affected or is affecting Monica's DNA. We just saw Darcy get sucked in.
Right.
We now have seen that there are a lot of children in Westview that all of a sudden they don't look like they were constructs from Wanda, because when you start to see deeper into this episode, there's like also an outside part of Westview of people who are just stuck. You saw kids, you saw adults that they're just stuck. So these kids are probably also having their DNA affected into people in Westview. So I think that this is a big opening for mutants. I'll let whoever wants to take the floor first. I mean, Mayhem, I know you've been ready. Let's go. But
So here's the thing, right? First of all, I think everybody's correct. And more importantly, I think that when it comes to Marvel and Disney, they like to simplify everything. And it makes sense because, fans of the comic books and just fans all together live for the comic books, live for that drawn out story. Feige's like, that's cool, but I'm dealing with a 30-minute generation. Maybe not. Let's make it simpler. I believe what's going to happen is, yes, I believe the Eternals, all this other stuff will come into play, but how mutants will actually come back into the play will be Monica will somehow release like a hex all over the world, and we'll get instant mutants, Now, if you guys remember, there's a thing called the Terrigen Mist. Now, maybe that's jumping a little too far ahead of what could happen, but I believe Terrigen Mist properties of the hex will kind of snatch on, and people will be contagious, and certain mutant genes will come in like that. I'm looking for them.
Terrigen Mist.
Terrigen Mist is
humans, right?
Right.
But because they got rid of all of the Inhuman, like that show or movie, whatever that nonsense was.
They used Inhumans as like fake mutants, the way they
right. But
especially in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, but because none of that is essentially canon anymore, except for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe. But I think Inhumans, like, they dismiss it.
The Inhumans became Marvel's substitute for the X-Men when Marvel couldn't make movies and shows directly with the X-Men.
Right. But because of the absolute failure of Inhumans,
they went and purchased the rights for the X-Men.
Right.
So I feel like they're gonna do that. And I feel like they're gonna kind of like use that to means I really want them because they're so really good at storytelling, with the exception of like Iron Man 3. So like because they're really good at storytelling, I really want to see.
It still was better than Justice League.
No, not here.
We're not doing it. Not tonight.
I got a Martha backpack that I've been waiting.
Don't worry. We'll get into that.
Mike.
Okay.
Don't you dare.
Okay. So all I'm saying is. I really want to see if they do explain how mutants have been there all this time, but we didn't know how they go down that rabbit hole, because that's going to set up so much good stuff in the beginning. I think otherwise, if they don't have a good story, it's kamikaze. I don't think they are going to. I think mutants are going to exist from after this show, but at the same time, things may get reversed to the multiverse movie with Doctor Strange. My last thing to answer your question more so is I do think mutants will appear after the last episode of this series, and I think it'll be more prominent because they may make reference to other mutants that are alive, that something may have happened, but they kept under wraps because S.H.I.E.L.D. works like that. But we'll have to wait to see.
Oh, I got theories on that. We're gonna talk. Lou, you want to jump in on that?
No, I mean, I think you cracked my mind open when you were like, wait, you could really now create. I mean, a large majority of people could leave Westview with these powers, with some sort of powers, right? So she could start to find people she doesn't like and be like, you need to go. And depending on what time period or where they are in their life, if they're a child, if they're an adult, they end up back into the regular realm with the rest of us. It's like, Gambit could pop out. There's all these different different characters that could pop out from this, one event happening. So
there's a very real chance
crazy.
that what we saw when the hex field started to expand is the
Mhm.
very tipping point, like the start of what we're gonna see. Because if I'm not mistaken, in House of M, it's not like no more mutants and it affects New York City. It's
Right.
no more mutants, period, end of statement. So if they're trying to like leverage that and say, I create and she's creating this reality on that level of a scale, I wouldn't put it past her to do it on a cosmic scale.
Ooh.
I like Charlie's comment here because I want to point. I was telling Sean that it's possible that they
What's up,
use Wanda
Pastor?
to Raccoon. Pastor Charlie Williams, catch him on his show from over there at Sketchfed. He goes, they use Wanda to retcon the MCU with one massive House of M change. She with Disney hands rewrite how everyone thinks what they do and do know. I think that's a possible theory. We've seen it in the House of M. Yeah, I think this is a reverse House of M, but there's he says, "What's up, Law? Yes, Law." Woohoo! But I'm gonna be real that I think this is the thing. I think mutants, if they're gonna write it in that mutants already existed in the MCU, they're gonna write in that this is a type of reverse House of M where more births are coming. Because if you notice this, how Marvel has done their storytelling, Ant-Man existed before Scott Lang when they were like Michael Douglas's character was a young version of Ant-Man, where Wasp was there. There was also too with when Nick Fury met Captain Marvel, and that started for him to start looking into superpowered beings. So Marvel has already established that there was already superpowered beings working before we seen Iron Man and everything, but it just was one of those secret things. And again, if you've read the Ultimate Comics or if you've been a fan of the Ultimate Comics, S.H.I.E.L.D. already knew about the existence of mutants. Yeah. Which, again, using the fact of what Nick Fury was doing when he had that whole list of people, and it showed Doctor Strange's name of people who were like, potential supers and everything that they were tracking. Again, I think mutants were already there. But Tony, go ahead, take that.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a point. We could have Xavier's school could be in the background, and the reason why we didn't see the X-Men was just they weren't ready. They weren't ready. We could still have like that first class, all those original mutants that we know and love, still training, losing some in the snap, and that's why they didn't jump into the fray. We know that Deadpool is coming into the MCU,
yes,
and we know that there is a school with 2 inhabitants at the time because of rights. So these characters could be there. They just they weren't ready. They were not ready for the mission, and they just have to. As long as it makes narrative sense.
Yes,
I think we'll give it a pass. This whole thing was about the Avengers Initiative, Tony Stark taking over, doing his whole thing, and just kind of the mutants being in the background, not causing any trouble. Because
there's no doubt that like the events that took place within all the Avengers movies are on a global scale.
Yep.
Not to say that the X-Men events are not global, but in this timeline they could just have been blips. Things that like immediately came up and immediately got snuffed out by some agency, because we've seen that in the comics and in the shows and in the movies all the time, where things happen and they're like, let's shut that shit down real quick and like make it seem like nothing happened yet. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that they're already there, but they're being very, very heavily watched, guarded, and kept secret. Because if it got out that there's people like this out there, with this new director of S.W.O.R.D. the way he is, problem.
Ooh, thank you for leading into that for me, because I want to get your guys' thoughts. What the hell is Director Hayward hiding? Dude, how do you feel about
I know this.
How do you feel about this guy?
Sketchy, man. There was information that he had that would have been really helpful, in terms of like location and understanding where, Wanda is, where Vision is, like that whole sort of thing, where you can kind of understand the hex a little more. He's got something to hide. The second that Monica first gets back to the place, and it's just like, all right, so my mom's gone, so I'm just gonna rightfully walk in here, and he's like, no, that's not how that's going to work. I was just like, And you could see she reacted too. She was a little like, okay, well, I'm qualified last time I checked, but all right, we'll see what's going on here first. So, but I also think she's known the guy for years, right? So I think she also understands, like, we're gonna let this play out under your supervision, but eventually everybody's gonna know who needs to be running things, and that's fine. And you could tell, by the way, when they're like, "Oh, we need to check your vitals and your signature again." She's like, "No, you don't. No, that's fine."
Before I get,
what kind of sorcery I want to know?
Before I get into you, Mike, hold on. We got a comment from Ari who has it could be like the Netflix Defenders universe where the rooftop level heroes were around and doing their thing while the whole Avengers thing is going on as well.
Ari, we are waiting for that. We are like who doesn't want? I mean, we're gonna get Daredevil, the actor who played Daredevil in Spider-Man 3. I love Jessica Jones. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see her rolled in.
We should be getting her. I think apparently we may be getting her in She-Hulk.
That'd be dope. Like, that makes sense.
Like Wolverine's in some bar in Canada somewhere and sees something on the news. It triggers some sort of memory, and boom, he's in the universe. Yep.
When it comes to the X-Men, I believe the X-Men are the easiest to write into the universe. Is just how they got there. For instance, we could say they were literally facing the Shi'ar Empire with the Emerald Crystal. They were stuck in the Emerald Crystal. Then they got back out due to the cosmic wave from the snap. Now remember, distance and space is different. Guardians of the Galaxy had us believe, oh, you can fly to this planet like that. No, it doesn't work like that. So by the time it takes for them to come back here, boom, here they are. You know what I'm saying? The distance that they're away, boom, here they are. I really wanted to address if I want to make sure correctly, the House of M.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think I do think he's a Skrull.
I don't think he's a Skrull.
No,
I don't think so.
I think he's a Skrull. It's not that it's too easy, but it sets up a war that's coming. That later the Illuminati.
I know what he's hiding. Or I have a theory.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
So, not sure if Lou touched on it when I stepped out real quick to grab more liquor, but if you guys looked at the files that Darcy found, right? Mm-hmm. What did that last file that she couldn't crack say?
Wasn't it cataracts?
Cataracts, like vision, right?
Yeah.
What if, like we said earlier, what if Ultron hid a backup file of himself somewhere in the world, right?
That is a possibility.
And what if he found it, and that's what he wants? Essentially, we've established that was Vision is what or was supposed to be Ultron's original body, right? Mm-hmm. So if he knows this, and he's trying to use something that can go against the Avengers, who essentially is an Avenger, to take out and like compete with Wanda, why not Ultron?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Mike.
To kind of challenge that theory, I'm still accepting of it, brother. Who is Hayward? Is he a human? Is he a synthetic android? Who is Hayward? Because
Hayward, I'm fully believing that he's a human. Okay. Where
he got damaged by he's damaged by the event.
I think Hayward is being set up like a what was it? Because we always have like a Senator Kelly, like Thunderbolt Ross, where there's always that person that doesn't like powers. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Like it's kind of like Amanda Weller, who's like, we need something to control people. We need and I believe that's why Hayward's being set up to be.
Okay, I'm board with this theory. However, I still maintain that the true villain of this is Dormammu, because he didn't like how Doctor Strange got the upper hand on him, and he's back because he's petty god, literally a god, petty.
My theory is good. Fast is my theory good? This is true. Look at me. All right, cool. But yeah. Like there's no way that Ultron would be such a throwaway villain. Of all the villains they've literally thrown away, for them to throw away Ultron.
Well,
I think they did it. I think they purposely did it the way they did it to make us go, oh man, they threw away such a good character about the third. Make us forget about him. And then later on, just when we're like, oh, okay, this is not third. Now we have this where we're like, no, I don't think I've seen many people thinking about Ultron in this. They're thinking, and listen, Mephisto can still be a thing as one of the big villains. I'm still of the camp that Mephisto, Wanda herself is one of the big villains. Wanda and her trauma is one of the big villains. But
Right.
Ultron essentially is just happenstance to be like, oh, I may not be the big villain, but I was there at the right time and right place to get revived and come
You're
back.
thinking of Fox, David. It wasn't Marvel. It was Fox. They did Apocalypse. They made him look like Ivan Ooze.
Ivan Ooze. That's it. But, to Law's point, I agree that they threw away Ultron. I think he was definitely a waste. I don't know if he would be used more in WandaVision, or when and if they decide to do a whole Young Avengers thing, bringing back an old villain to bring them together, like to tie the old and the new, and using Ultron as the villain for the Young Avengers.
I'm gonna blow up everybody. I'm gonna blow up everybody's mind with these theories right now because Marvel, a lot of people complained that Marvel was in the beginning throwing away a lot of villains. We see now that they're establishing stuff. Like for all the comic book heads out there, they know that Ultron is a villain that can always come back because that was always happening in comics. He can never be destroyed. He would come back, and I would not put that past that they're doing some setup with him possibly being a villain in some future series or anything, especially with Sword. And then you have, which they're pitching out Jimmy Woo as a show now. In terms
he had a nice little small run in the comics as like his own little agency kind of thing.
Well, for David too, Red Skull did come back. We saw what happened to Red Skull when he got the Cosmic Cube. He is a shell of himself now.
He is, and he is the commercial.
She hasn't unlocked that door yet.
Some people think that the commercial in this episode is Red Skull.
I feel like everybody has good points, right? First of all, when it comes to Ultron, like Ultron isn't a villain that needs to be repeated. And he's like one of the hardest villains the Avengers goes against. You know what I'm saying? Because of the body he's built, adamantium. You know what I'm saying? He's harder to build. And then he's always mischievous to a point where in one universe, his creator, Hank Pym, if I'm not mistaken, he tricked Hank Pym into believing that he didn't exist. This is comics. You know what I'm saying? So like, I agree with you, Sebastian, who's over here, that it'll be like longer in the future in a role. He can come back every now and again. Maybe they're fighting him or whatever. But remember, I feel like all these theories will be reset, or all these villains will be reset and brought back with the multiverse of madness. I feel like
this is and I'm sorry, Mike.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, because it's like I want to get into this point because this also deals with the Quicksilver point that I want to get into with asking you guys, because the possible culprits are going to be honest with the show, who I feel is going to be Mephisto, who they've really been pointing out heavily because there's a lot of reference to it. But I think he's a long one big bad that we'll get in the Multiverse of Madness and the show. I agree with some people when they're saying that we have Nightmare. Nightmare might be a low-ranking villain, to how we saw Loki set up Thanos and other people set up Thanos. So we could be having some low-level villains set up. And again, Marvel's looking to come out with a lot of shows. Don't put it past them that we see some villains reintroduced because they're developing. Some people think Mojo, who I don't think so, because again, I feel like it's because of the TV stuff and all that we're seeing and everything, because of whole TV waves. I don't think we're going to get Mojo until we've actually really established X-Men, because he's more of an X-Men baddie versus an Avengers baddie than what we've seen right now. But I feel like we will get Mojo at some point. But the thing brings me back to this, is Evans Peter moment. And where is Dottie? Because a lot of people have forgot about Dottie, because Dottie's name was not on that board. And Agnes said all roads point to Dottie, but also too, Evan Peters' Quicksilver has the memories of the MCU Quicksilver, which is pretty interesting because that's not the Quicksilver he played in the X-Men movies. Darcy pointed out that his character was recasted, like Wanda recasted Pietro. But the funny thing is that, you see, like, his character wasn't the one that got shot up, and Wanda saw the bullet wounds in the Evans Peters Quicksilver, which that never happened to him. Is that her trauma doing that? Did she put his personality in? Or is Evan Peters playing a much bigger character, and this whole Quicksilver thing, is it a mulligan? Lou, I'm going to start with you, and Mike, I know you're going to have theories on this.
I honestly don't have enough knowledge for this one. In the sense of, so I didn't even catch the fact that they had switched the Quicksilvers, right? So when she sees him like all messed up and everything, I didn't even catch that the entire character had changed. But that is probably her trying to bury the idea of that happening, right? Of Quicksilver being killed. So yes, that is, to answer your question, yes, definitely a part of her drama, but definitely her trying to bury it and the fact that he is a character who is talking to her, right? Just like what's her name did in the living room. What's the character's name? Sorry,
Geraldine?
Nosy Neighbor. Yeah. She had kind of said, "Wait, you want to do that over? Are you?
No, that was Agnes.
Agnes. Right. He did a similar thing when they were outside and all the kids were around, where she was like, "This is what you wanted, right?" And she's just like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And it's just like she knows she's doing it, but she doesn't know she's doing it at the same time. Which I found was interesting, but I don't have enough knowledge as to how
much control is she having. Like after she does something, is she still controlling it, or it happens, and then whatever happens after that is out of her control?
Well, we're gonna get into Agnes in a minute, but I want to just real quickly to speed up Lou. So it's funny because Aaron Taylor. So we had two actors play Quicksilver, which we thought was pretty dope because in MC. Because what had happened was that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were both at one time X-Men properties and Avengers properties. And Marvel decided we're going to do our own one. And then the X-Men was like, oh, no, but Fox was like, we're going to have our own Quicksilver, which Evan Peters played. And he played the popular version. The version that doesn't get shot by bullets because he runs fast. So he wasn't a meat shield like the one for the MCU.
Right.
Because the Fox one can push the bullets out of the way.
Right.
It was interesting that you had the actor over that played Quicksilver for the Fox X-Men pop up now as Pietro, which was pretty interesting. So that's why people now are going like this.
Did you catch the Kick-Ass reference?
Yeah, but
my heart. That was so funny.
There's so much. There's so much meta.
Oh, so much. So especially in this episode. In this episode. So
what I'll do is I'll answer one of. I know we got some questions piled up. I'll answer one, and I'll go into.
I got you. Don't worry. We're gonna go into those questions.
So like, Mr. Williams, bro, like, yes, Fantastic Four easily, Cosmic Wave, and they need to bring back Julian McMahon. I think I'm saying his name right, McMahon, whatever. The guy who played Doctor Doom. They need to bring him back because for me, I see Doom.
Wait,
it's Julian something.
In the FF4, whatever.
Not with Michael B. Jordan, the original.
Gotcha.
There you go. So, here's my theory on Quicksilver. Right, I believe we got to wait until the end to find out exactly how he's there. I believe he's a reminder to her that if she acts out of pocket, she can lose Quicksilver easily. Because although his Quicksilver did not get shot up, his body had the bullet holes from that universe's Quicksilver. And that doesn't make sense because technically he's not dead. You know what I'm saying? That universe Quicksilver is dead, which is why she was wondering, well, how are you here? Like Vision is here. I can understand that, but how are you here? It doesn't make sense. So I believe the forces that be, whether it be Mephisto or Dormammu or whoever, is like, don't forget, stick to the script. And then when it comes to Wanda, she's losing control of her powers, or little things are slipping by because she has kids. And like with any person with kids, 1 minute you're aware of everything, next minute you got kids, you're like, did that just happen? What? Like Kevin Hart, are y'all playing in that toilet? You know what I'm saying? Like. So she can't control everything all at once.
I love that Lou is laughing the hardest because as a dad, I'm sure he's just like, yeah. Like, and Tone is staying silent for that same reason.
He needs to be able to hear. So like, she's losing control, but she's also trying to enjoy the fact that she has a family, particularly two new twins, who grew themselves up. And it's just like, she can control everything when she's focused on it, but she's trying to also enjoy the moment. You guys ever notice things were much more calmer and simpler when it was black and white? And then when it got into color, everything went haywire. It's just like all this.
So now she adds to it, and the more layers she has, the less control she has.
So, this is how great
all of the outside layers of the neighborhood, like when Vision went up in the sky, nothing. Everyone's frozen. Tears, help me. That kind of thing.
That's such a dark scene.
My hexagon theory from last week, 2 weeks ago.
Combatic dad.
I think the closest is this week in pop culture. The take and nerds have been pretty close in like the theories that have been going on, bro. But I got a question here from Charlie Williams, Radio Williams. It says, "Do you think this will bring in the FF? If so, how?" I'm gonna add to that layer on that question because it's who is Monica, who is she talking to, and I want to pretty much tackle this first. Is that I don't think they're bringing in the FF through WandaVision. I think it's a mulligan because we're all excited to want to see the Fantastic Four. We already know we're getting a Fantastic Four movie. What I do think, and I had this conversation with Tony earlier in the week before they did the show and all that. Well, first of all, we think it's Blue Marvel as a possibility because, again, they've been hinting at, and Blue Marvel is a big character. I mean, the guy smacked up Hulk in the Marvel comics. The other possibility is Hank McCoy.
I was thinking that. Like while we were talking, I was thinking, are they going to do Beast? That would make sense.
But
he's more biology.
Mike's on the soapbox right now. He did the side.
You know what?
The only reason why I say that is because as much as I mean, they could change it up, and I could be totally wrong, and I'll be back here on the next show on 105. Like, guys, I was wrong on this turns around. This is my apology. Excuse me. But what I've noticed from Beast's character, he rarely goes anywhere by himself. Like, he was with the X-Men, he was part of the original A team or whatever. Then he went to the B team, and then he went to Avengers. But he doesn't do things by himself, and that's because his character is not all that interesting by himself per se, and that's fine. But once again, I think they can change it, but I don't think he's the one. But if he is, then the cookie crumbles.
Keep in mind, Beast also used to be an Avenger, and he's the only X-Men that's been on 3 different teams.
But he's definitely got the smarts and the chops for it.
Agreed.
But I think it's such a stretch to bring him in that, like, if they did, it would need to, like, have more reasoning. Like, I have more, like, stake in your claim for Blue Marvel than I do with Hank McCoy. And I love Beast. I think Beast is a super underrated character. But I think in terms of what the Feige plan is, I don't think Beast is in it.
I think again, they're gonna bring. They think the highest choice right now is Blue Marvel because I don't think they're gonna waste Reed with this. And it's not to say it's a waste. I think they're gonna, because the fact that they announced
you're saying it like they need to bring in Reed Richards on the show. They don't need to bring him in. They just need to address that they're gonna talk to someone. They could leave it at that and have the 4.
But they're already. But the thing is,
and then let it go.
But Monica said they're meeting the guy.
And
they're meeting.
We don't know if she made it. We don't know if she made it.
But the whole point was for them to go meet him at the bridge.
But a lot of people forget this too. And the colors that Monica was wearing at one point was resembling what Blue Marvel has worn in the comics. Which again, it could be Marvel doing mulligans. It could be a way because we already know that Kevin Feige, one of his plans right now is to create a more diverse universe and bringing a more diverse characters.
I want y'all in the comments right now to link to say who do you think the mystery person is? If it's Hank McCoy, who I think is like low tier right now, like the least possible person or least likely person.
Who would you like to see them bring?
Blue Marvel or
Mr. Fantastic?
I don't know much about Blue Marvel. I know more about Fantastic Four than anything. But I'm also pretty. I'm into seeing more characters. So if you go backwards, that's fine with me. I just I want it done right. Just keep me watching. That's how I feel.
Let me say, if they do bring in Blue Marvel, how much more excited I'm going to be for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? And you're like, what's the correlation, right? The civil rights and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is a hot take. This is like left field, all right? It's possible that they'll talk about the original super soldier who was a black man, and then they'll talk about all the civil rights and all this other things. Like, I'm already excited, but my mind, I'll come in with half a mind the other day, and I'm like, guys, I can't do this. I can't because I'll be so excited. But either way,
could you imagine it'd be the best Black History Month?
Yes, I would love to see that.
It'd be the best Black History Month president ever.
Well, you want to know what's dope though is that Kevin Feige's having fun with this, but going like what you said, Mike, is that if we've been running with this whole thing is that we're getting set up for Young Avengers. Young Avengers has had who in it? A member named Patriot, who is related to who? The first Captain America. Who was Isaiah Bradley?
Yep. I was gonna leave that for all right, whatever.
So, and Kang the Conqueror has been casted, and Kang.
There's so many things that like are already laid out. They literally just have to tie one string together.
Yes,
everything's gonna come together. It's gonna be perfect. But I think that I don't think they're gonna be as careless as to have so many out there things with not enough credible like source. You know what I mean? Like I'm still of the camp, like Ari said. Fantastic Four was a 4 on the wall and a call to some physicist, whatever guy, and just left it out as a throwaway line.
Okay.
Maybe they talk to him. Maybe we get like a no face, forgettable recast guy that they'll recast later. Maybe. But I doubt it. I don't think that's the guy that we'll see.
Yeah, Mojo was, but again, I without the X-Men already in front, I don't think Mojo is. He's been a candidate, but I don't think
Sinister,
it's Mojo.
A lot of those guys,
they're going to come in the X-Men. But we got.
I would love to see Sinister, but
same.
There's so much that needs to happen before that.
Got a question from Charlie too. Do you think we are ready for young? We've already been set up for Young Avengers because the fact is that
I don't know that it's going to happen in this phase, but they're definitely going to do it.
Not this phase.
It's the slow burn.
We've
got the cast. We're building out the cast.
Phase 6, maybe.
Phase 6, probably. I mean, everything's a slow burn. They're getting all these new younger actors into long-term contracts and all that shit. The older actors phase out of the movies, so we'll eventually get a Young Avengers.
Yeah, like I said, if we see Patriot introduced, if we see hulking, we already know that Kate Bishop is coming in the Hawkeye series. So again, I don't put it past them that they're setting up already for Young Avengers. I mean, we got Speed and Wiccan through WandaVision, which are the kids. So I know that's going to be something great because again, we have Miss Marvel casted. We had American Chavez already casted.
I have a question for you, Seabass. So we saw I have a question for everybody. Essentially, we saw, and I still have this theory that because she birthed them, they are made real, right? Because she's an actual, she gave birth to them. Granted, how she became pregnant was her, reality manipulation. But because she birthed them, they are made real. But like Vision, once she goes out, like once the kids go out of that field, do the kids start to lose their abilities, their sense of self, like all of that? Does that go out the window if they leave? I theorize that it'd be harder for Wiccan because Wiccan has the same powers as his mom.
I don't think so, to answer that, only because it all leads back to Mephisto because he was involved more with the kid's birth because he was trying to, this is something about his essence was in them. With Vision, I think so because of the fact is that Vision was dead before he was in there. So when he leaves, is it taking him apart, which I wanted. And the other thing about Evan Peters' character, Quicksilver, if he's actual Quicksilver, is he going to die when he leaves? But I think with the twins, because their birth was, because again, keep in mind, they kept pushing the children. I think it leads all roads to Mephisto. With
also, to get to Dave brought up a question I think we answered last week was essentially,
what's up,
does that mean Magneto is the parents of Pietro and Wanda? Because of Evan Peters, it could be. So because in the X-Men universe, when Evan Peters, Pietro, met Magneto and he said, oh, something like my dad reference like that, it could be the case that now that Evans is in this MCU universe, that the twins' new dad is Magneto. Possibly.
That's going to be incestuous.
How?
Granddad. Wait, well, the thing is if the twins' father is Magneto and Wanda's the mother, Wanda is the daughter of Magneto.
No. He's talking about Pietro and Wanda.
Oh, Pietro and Wanda.
No. Wrong twins.
Okay,
Wrong twins. That's
wrong
Speed
twins.
and Wiccan.
Anyway,
not Billy.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to take the wheel on this one.
Let's get back.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I just wanted to add on to that and say that remember to answer Sebastian's question, I believe everyone will die if they try to leave except for Wanda and the people who already live there. So meaning the twins,
even Wiccan. I think Wiccan has the best chance of leaving.
Wiccan might be able to do something. Honestly, I agree with you, but here's the way I'm thinking about it, right? I'm thinking, remember, Wanda is an Infinity Stone, or all the Infinity Stones to an extent. That's where she got her power from, right? Okay. So then she passed on a part of her power to the two kids. Doesn't mean that they're alive. It just means that their essence is there, and to grow up and do all these things without conflict, and it's not even conflict, without consequences. That doesn't play, like they're not human or they're not alive per se. Their essence is real, but I'm gonna put my hand down. They're not alive. So I believe if they were to leave, they are leaving the powered field that get the field that gives them their power, and they would die because technically they're not alive. They're just stones that were given power and given an identity.
Would Wanda? So I'll raise you this. Would Wanda have to control her powers in order to keep her kids alive after everything goes down?
I think it's gonna involve more than her powers, and which we have yet to see.
I think so too, but yes, she would have to, because here's the thing: we don't. First of all, she went from being telekinetic and you took everything from me to like creating a pocket universe. So there's a missing link for that.
The kids could possibly be her Horcruxes.
I think the kids are more of Mephisto's Horcruxes.
Right. And if they're not, then there has to be something that's given her more power. And for her to be able to continue that power, she needs that thing to continue their lives. But I think at this point, maybe in the next 2 episodes, we're going to realize whether or not they're alive or not. And everything's going to go topsy-turvy, and the kids are not going to be alive. And it's going to be like, bye, kids, we missed you. No more Malcolm in the middle. Like, this is it. Like, I honestly, I think this is because I believe they're all stones. Even Monica got her power from the stones. And to an extent, when she got pushed out the hex, right, I called it. I was like, why is the energy surrounding her like that?
Mm-hmm. But I want to go ahead, Tom.
No.
Kids are Horcruxes.
No, I mean, I do think that the kids are. I think the kids are hers. I think we've seen this whole aspect of her altering reality. And so, and because she has she's giving out the same sort of Big Bang energy, and we know through the Big Bang, everything has come to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if if these kids are real and they are just aspects of reality that she has spit out of thin air.
Right.
Potentially, if the kids are fake, that could lead to her becoming. I think we were talking about her being an antagonist in the second Doctor Strange movie. And she's going through the multiverse, looking for a different universe where her kids are around, and kind of doing that.
Ooh.
But I
think she's gonna be bleeding in all of these alternate universes.
So we know she's a Nexus being. So every instance of Wanda is Wanda. So it's the same Wanda. So it'll be. I think the kids are here to stay, and I think they're kind of aging themselves up in the show because they're just allowed to do that. But once they're out, that's kind of where they'll be at, and they'll grow up naturally.
That would be amazing, Ari. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. But I want to bring up a point because Lou jumped into this point earlier about Agnes, and I wanted to ask you guys with Agnes, and I'm definitely going to have Lou lead on this one because it's interesting Agnes's character in this episode because it in the beginning, there was an episode where it looked like she was more in control, not being controlled by Wanda.
Yeah.
We also saw that too when she stepped to Wanda. I was like, you want me to take it from the top? Is she being controlled by Wanda, manipulated by someone else? Because in this episode, it looks like she wasn't being controlled, mind controlled by something. I mean, how do you feel about that, Lou? What were your thoughts on that? Your takeaway?
Well, so I thought it was interesting that, Vision was able to kind of tap her out of it and get her back into a place of being like, wait, you don't realize you're an Avenger? You don't realize that you're dead? Holy shit. Wanda's really got, it's even worse than I thought. But it sounds like one of those things where she's fully there, but she's not fully there. But she understands that she is under somebody's control, which I thought was interesting. But nonetheless, I think one day she's got to, when when Vision starts to understand what's going on, and obviously he did when he sees, okay, I'm not supposed to go past what was it, Ellis Avenue or something like that. And he's like, all right, you know what, I'm doing this, right? Like you feel like you're watching M. Night Shyamalan, The Village. And he goes and he pops through. And that when he starts to see like all these things happening and like, you know, a piece of him is going back and ripping off of him. I thought that was cool. I mean, my thing is like, I find it crazy that she knows she's under control, but she, you know, Vision has the ability to snap her out of it, but just puts her right back in because that shit was too crazy. He's like, no, go back. She's like, all right, howdy, neighbor. It was like, whoa.
I think she had less free will once she got closer to the edge of town. I think as you get closer to the edge of town, your free will not there.
Well, she said she told the kids to stay away from there, but
I think it's because the straining of her power. Like her power is literally the outskirts are keeping the hexagon together, and then everyone around that is just like in stasis because it's too far from her, the epicenter. I wouldn't be surprised if their house, like the city square, are in the middle, which is why everything around is where a lot of the activity is. Right. Now we've got kids, and like Evan Peter said, where the hell were all these kids? Now we have kids around, and now she's expanded the hex like way more than she needed to because she got Vision back, and then she decided to keep it going for, I don't know, a good amount of miles. So this thing's gonna crumble.
Mike, I want you to jump in.
Yeah, no, I agree with everybody, and I think Tone has to me the most viable theory, honestly, because at first when I saw that she was being controlled, I was like, what the hell? I thought you were in on this all the time. And it makes sense the farther away that you go away from Wanda, the less free will that you have, because she don't want you messing up her stuff. And then I even took in consideration that Vision was worried that Agnes knew something, because this is not the first time that Agnes has like shown to Vision and Wanda like, I kind of knew this was happening. Like, remember when she made the dog collar and Agnes was just like, anyway, and then in that same episode, she was like, do you want me to take it from the top? So in my mind, I was thinking Wanda was like, you know what? I'm just going to reset and put you under my control just in case. But I think Tone might be onto something. But I see Lou right here. I'm going to tag you in. Lou.
Yo, was she trying to escape? Was Agnes trying to escape?
Maybe. That's actually a really good theory.
She had
the free will. It started losing reception, and she's stuck in paralysis like everybody else.
She was trying to floor it past Ellis Avenue.
I was almost there.
Especially that's kind of what's happening. She didn't give Vision full free reign of free will, but she's shown to giving at least Vision, the kids, couple of the neighbors, and especially Agnes, a lot of free will.
Right.
So she probably got enough free will that some of her actual memories for whoever she was before this starts to sleep in and start to be like, I shouldn't be here. I have kids, I have family, whatever. I need to go. And as soon as she's essentially, the closer you are to Wanda, the safer you are.
Yes, it's like a trust bubble. Yeah.
Right. The farther you get away, it's like, cool, you can go as far as you want from me. But once you reach this like kind of like edge of the town, that's it. You lose all free will, and you just become a husk of who you are.
Yep. I just wanted to read some because we got a question here, and you can definitely answer you, David. Do you have to keep in mind what the Infinity Stone gave Wanda her power? It was the Mind Stone.
I don't think we have to, though.
The Mind Stones what gave her power, but I don't think we do. I don't think it's.
But I think we theorized already last week that we think, at least I think, that she's the living embodiment of the Reality Stone right now.
I think she has access to all the Power Stones. She just doesn't know it yet. Honestly,
yeah, because Wanda in the comics,
actually in this Hexaverse, she definitely does.
Right.
Yeah, because Wanda in the comics is actually much more powerful. Which hashtag actually would be Goku. Does the name Ellis mean anything to anyone? I thought it could have been a shadow.
It's Ellis Island. Like
Ellis Island.
You go to people where people went to Ellis, immigrate into the United States for freedom, and people are going to Ellis Island and are stopped at Ellis Island before they get freedom. I would, like a cookie cutter.
So,
yep.
Wait. We gotta just for tone. That's a Tone Soapbox moment. There we go. And then
But I never thought of that. I never considered that. What's going on? You look like you.
No, I'm just reading the comments.
I'm not responding to a comment because you told me not to go there. That said,
oh no, they bring it up. They could go there. I mean, they're playing catch up right now.
We're not
the same
doing
story
it.
that's up, but we're not doing it. Too bad. It's not this episode, but we will be doing a.
It only took you guys what $60 to catch me a full story, the actual true story. But 4 or 5 years later, okay. Okay. Okay.
Wait, did we? Wait. Hold on. To be transparent, did we even pop up the comment that just came?
I'll pop it up. It's our 100th episode.
I hope. No, you got the next one.
If the MCU sucks, you can only imagine what the DC universe is. It's like heart garbage. Like heart
there we go.
Garbage.
And that has been Hey Mike Soapbox moment.
Oh man.
But no, we appreciate the comment. Again, everyone, I'll be real and be honest. I hope DC and Warner Brothers does get it together. No, I really do hope that DC and Warner Brothers do get it together, because at the end of the day, if DC and Warner Brothers get it together, the fans win. It's just like, even Ben Affleck has said it, Kevin Feige has been the #1 producer in Hollywood today. DC could have that because they did it with their shows.
They just need to just to nuke it, and then like a phoenix, it grows from the ashes, and you take the good parts. You literally take Patty Jenkins, and you take some Wonder Woman, and you take a little bit of Aquaman, and a whole lot of Shazam, and you kind of make something out of fucking nothing.
Destroy and rebuild.
About it on the other show, how you can do it, how they can reboot it successfully.
But you know what? There's a 4-hour hot piece of garbage that we are gonna watch.
I don't want to.
You know what? And I was gonna say I'm not going to, but I have to watch it.
And all the DCE,
we will finally.
Do you want to join that watch party?
Mike is my stand-in. I'm not watching that shit.
Do you want to join in that watch party?
I'm gonna watch it on Hood Release.
No, I'm gonna watch. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching this shit once with Jackie, and I don't know if I can sit through it for another fucking 4 hours.
I'm watching it on Hood Release. That's what I'm gonna do. I got you. When I find it, I'll send it to all of you.
You have multiple people who have HBO Max.
So what is everyone looking forward for with WandaVision and everything? What do you guys have been most excited? What have you been most excited? Because I know we've been talking in the beginning of the show. I know a lot of people were confused me, but then when that 4th episode dropped, you get in this blip, you get in everything. How did you feel about this show, man? But how's it been for you watching it?
This particular one, this show itself was dope. Like I said, it took me a minute to get into it, and I needed some encouragement and coaching from others to be like, Lou, stick with it. And then when Monica came into the picture as being a part of SWORD, that's when I really started to rub my eyes and be like, okay, wait, there's something here. So yeah, they're keeping me engaged, man. I like it. I also love the aha moments, to watch a character go through the aha moments, not necessarily just mine, but kind of seeing Vision. I mean, my ahas are amazing, but to see Vision kind of be like, oh, what, and what, and you're like, yeah, and you're like trying to throw clues at him. He can't hear you. It's good. It's good seeing that. So it keeps me engaged. So it was dope.
Mike, come on, we know you want.
Oh, I was waiting to go. That's cool. Listen. When I saw the previews for WandaVision, to be honest with you, I was more interested in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So you can already imagine the hype train I'm on right now. But when I saw the previews for this trailer and I saw Geraldine as Photon or Monica Rambeau, I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, what? This is gonna be awesome. And then the first 2 episodes before they even introduced Geraldine was just dope, because not for nothing, it paid homage back to some of the shows that I used to watch as a kid, like the Brady Bunch and everything. Like, come on, I Dream of Jeannie. Come on, that was dope. And then it's not just it's funny, but they're setting up a whole world, a universe of mystery of what's going on. And I like to say I'm a little bit above the average watcher. I am invested in the comics and stuff, but like anybody can get into this. People are like, oh, it's too slow. For what? A build? Like we've gone back to the 30-minute wait till next Friday thing. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I'll take you back. Remember the 90-minute specials on the weekend? Come on now. So I really love the story building. I really love how it ties everything up. I love the fact, like Attack on Titan, like Game of Thrones, how it answers questions, but leaves us with way more questions nonetheless. And it keeps us invested and it all makes sense. Because if not, we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
100%. I'm excited. I've been I've been thoroughly enjoying the show. Like the early part was a lot of questions more than anything and trying to figure out where it was going, what was happening. Then once it picked up, it was like, all right, you guys are here, you guys are invested, say less, and we're gonna hit the ground running. And we've been sitting here theorizing for weeks now, like what can happen, what has been happening, you know, all the little details, and was this an Easter egg? It could have been an Easter egg, it could have been a hint. I'm here for it, and I think they know exactly what they're doing by introducing the small details, the big details, the red herrings, and things to just leave us talking at the end of the day. Like, this is easily one of the most talked about shows that we've had in a long, long, long time. And it shows why, because it's introducing so many elements of not just, you know, what has helped make the MCU, but great television story writing. Like, we're having like these moments of just like, oh wow, I never even thought of that. Like I'm seeing like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook theories, and people are like having back and forth and like, I never thought of that. Oh man, and they run back to like, it's been bonkers. Like I've seen it a little bit on Game of Thrones, a little bit here and there, like with other shows, but like the theories, because you figure for the last 12 plus years, we've grown up and been a generation groomed by Marvel with the MCU. So all of this has just been preparing us. And even if you weren't a part of the MCU fandom, you're looking at this like, yo, like I kind of think it could go this way. You're like, I thought you didn't watch this show. Oh, but I kind of like my brother and my sister-in-law never watched any of the MCU stuff. They caught WandaVision and now they're going back to watch all the other stuff. They never had time. They have like 6 kids. They were like, we can't watch this stuff. We ever get a chance to go to the movie theaters. But now they have Disney Plus sitting at home in quarantine. Fuck it, let's go.
Tell them stay away from Iron Man 3.
Tone?
What's up? Oh, yes. So what I'm really excited for is the last 3 episodes are an hour each. Because like I said, as I always say, I can't with this 20-minute shit. So 3, apparently we're getting 3-hour-long episodes for the yep, and Spike Lee is also a Knicks fan. So hey, beggars can't be choosy. So
No. Hold on. I'm with Tone on this one. I'm from Brooklyn, okay? Spike Lee has said some other controversial stuff about other people who make great stuff. So he may be right about corniness, but he's also a cornball himself. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, I was about to say, I didn't say nothing about the writing for Man.
But let's go, Tone.
Hold on.
Wait, what did I do? I didn't get to read that.
Hold on. We'll pick on Charlie in a minute, but let's go, Tony.
What I'm excited for is just I want to see. I'm a firm believer that Mephisto is the big bad here, and seeing how they're going to bring him into the MCU, into the show, and how he potentially could be like the Loki of the next set of phases, kind of just in the background, just kind of doing things. But it's a lost point. We've had the MCU for 10 years, and like a lot of the beats, I would say for the first like 2 phases, you can really kind of guess what's going on with the comics and kind of keeping very plain Jane comic storylines, nothing too nothing too adventurous. And now they've built in this backlog, this story that they can kind of go full hog on like the craziness that is comics and like the events that like don't make sense but make sense. And so I think with WandaVision was a step in the right direction, because we were still supposed to get Winter Soldier and Bucky, And that was pretty, I would say that looked very much like regular MCU action characters we remember. But WandaVision kind of took that on its head and was like, no, we're gonna start our TV show with the show with looking like a 50s show. And you're just gonna have to like accept this for what it is and be like, you're gonna be a part of this because we have something in store for you. And so they're taking more risk with the medium of the TV and film. I think they're changing the game. So just being excited in the future for what they're gonna do, because the gloves are off, and at this point, it's their sandbox to play in.
I just want to add on to
They're doing the right thing. Yep, they are doing the right thing.
I just want to add on to Tone really quickly because Tone said everything we all needed to hear. Marvel has paved the way into storytelling in the cinematic universes or in cinema and movie theaters. Because remember, we'd only get 3 movies, and generally the third one was always cursed. And granted, they didn't do 3 movies per se that was always successful, but they built a whole universe in a span of 10 years that we all watched. They are controlling the narrative for not just movies, but now TV series as well. Mark my words. That's all.
So I just want to add in this.
Okay.
Because you guys have hit some great points, and I don't think there's anything more for me to say on that. But I think that Marvel took a chance with this show. Because in the beginning, when we're seeing this, we're like, what's going on? Especially when we were reading the stuff, like, what are they doing with this show? What's going on with this? Now we're at the point with this narrative. It's like, okay, they're doing something different with storytelling, with comics that a lot of people attempted to do before Marvel. But I think that these storytellers that have been working there, from the actors to Kevin Feige being on the top and everything, they've been fans of the stuff. They're taking the narrative, making it more fun for fans, whether they're casual or fans who are diehard and everything. Because, like, again, you see new people jumping on the bandwagon. You see people who've been part of the bandwagon, and I think it's opening up that superhero narrative where it's just not, I'm going to fight the villain now. It's giving you that whole thing where we're seeing characters build. It's like character building 101. Right. You saw this, like, in the beginning, that they weren't great with parties, but then we got Captain America Civil War, which didn't center around a villain. It was a movie about pretty much the descent of these friends that fought together as a team, but now start fighting each other. And it was like, Marvel did that. A big story, the MCU, Kevin Feige and the directors and all that, the brothers,
Russo.
The Russo brothers did that with not even the full properties of the Civil War. They were able to tell a great story. And when you saw Cap fight Iron Man, you kind of felt it right here. A little bit. It's like, yo, they're supposed to be friends. These dudes are fighting. Yo, they're supposed to be boys and all that. But yeah, they really have been doing great in the writing. And just to read a couple of comments, because they're talking about writing and direction. Mando was just a month or two ago, so yeah, writing and Wanda is good and expanding, but Mando is really, nobody's the script in Mando. Mando was awesome.
So I think Mando
said, "Hey DCU, we're going to
suck." Writing, but it elevated like where we can see like sci-fi and Star Wars caliber writing. Like we're getting like, oh, Mando could be a show, and then be like, and as an afterthought, it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
let's be honest. With MCU as a whole right now, we're getting like this whole set, clear picture of a world and like a universe being built out that hasn't really been done where it's been given such attention to detail. At least on this grand of a scale, with such a limited amount of resources from the jump, because you figure they did not have a lot of their own properties to start with this. So they're doing this with one hand but tied behind their back, and we're taking a shot in the dark. So that's the only thing I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think, the thing with Mando too is that aside from the fact that Pedro Pascal's holding
looking at you, Mike.
The Star Wars the Star Wars series on his back, like he's struggling. He is struggling. He got kicked in the knees after what Gina Carano was saying, and he's holding the universe on his back.
Give that man a back brace.
But like, I think the beautiful thing about the thing with Mandalorian is that Mandalorian shows you what Star Wars can be, and what Star Wars was in like when it first came out, and we've just all been kind of like, you know, that roller coaster sensation of kind of being disappointed with stuff. And Mando's like, no, we're this pinnacle of Star Wars that we want to reach. And WandaVision and Marvel, aside from a couple missteps, is kind of just like, we're coasting in an upward fashion. We're just building on top of what came before us and
Charlie,
not looking back.
We'll come on your show and discuss this, brother. You got this. You got the Mando going. Well, Mike, go ahead. I know you want to jump. Oh, go ahead, Lou.
My fault. So what I find interesting, and sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
Is with Star Wars and these with Mandalorian, I noticed that these movies and this type of cinema have these quiet moments that are very significant. That I think the MCU doesn't necessarily, you know, like the past movies and stuff like that. It's like straight nonstop. And I think these quiet moments allow us to like kind of take in all the information. You can get a little more complicated when you have these like quieter moments that have like all the significance behind it, which I think is interesting. It might be why it seems so much cooler, right? Because you can go wild and then you quiet down for a little bit, let it build up, and then, you know, you have that like big blowout, which I find interesting. I don't know if you guys see it similarly, but
it's two great versions of storytelling. Going back to that point that Mando really did carry the Star Wars franchise. Let's
look at the MCU as like a stock that is consistently building and reinvesting gains, so it just goes up and becomes more expensive over time, where Star Wars is like up down, real volatile, you know, and kind of, you know, what we're seeing, which is not what we want as a fandom.
Go ahead, Mike.
Just really quickly, I just want you guys. For me personally, I think The Mandalorian was Marvel's and Disney's biggest risk. You understand? Because you look at everything else, we're interested in what if stories. People love Loki, so a series for him, fine. WandaVision, okay. Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, it hits or miss. But the reason why I say The Mandalorian was the biggest risk is because I hate to say, but look at the failure that Star Wars as a universe up until this point was. And when I say Star Wars universe, I mean excluding out the books. If you read the books, y'all already know the books were gold. And to hear that they retconned that and they weren't including it, I was just like, why not? You got so much good stuff. So I think the first season was a risk to show interest, but then when they started building universe, and which I talked about before, like we're interested in other parts of the universe, like what's going on, other characters, Grey Jedi, etc. Like even Gina's character, I loved because when she did her signature move on that guy, I was like, that seemed authentic. Like that was like a one-shot take. Granted, she said some stuff. We can't have her anymore. Whole batch is gone. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's my thing. So like at the same time, but like we're still interested in the universe expanding. We don't want to keep hearing the same story with the same people. You can make references to them. You can show how important they are. But there are other people. You guys remember the kid was episode 7 who was sweeping with the Force? What happened to that kid? What's he doing in his life?
Well, they erased those movies. We're not going to. That's another episode. We could talk about that because, like, again, it's easy to get lost in it. No, I agree with you, Mike. I agree.
Let's get back to one and let's start to wrap.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because like we
hit the 1 hour and 30 minutes
mark. I personally want to thank you all. First of all, Tony and Law, because again, you guys have been, especially, you know, just being there and every day and all that. That you guys. We got together. We ran with this.
Oh my God, he's gonna cry. He's gonna cry, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but really, it was. I mean, a lot of people know that my mom passed away last Sunday, and it was a big moment. It was really crazy for me. I had my ups and downs, and I thank Tony and Law for doing what they did, and then just being there, just being all of our friends and all that. Everyone who reached out. I thank Lou for dropping that fire beat for us because you all heard it in the beginning. You hear it now every day in the show now. Which has been awesome, that whole intro.
Fire.
And also Mayhem being the first guest on the show and just with conversations of what we've been talking geek and been wanting to do and all that. This is
a consistent bit of mayhem.
Yeah, we need that mayhem. And Lou, now you've experienced the mayhem.
Yo, what's up, Lou? Can I get a beat? How much I gotta pay you?
Yo, man, man, we got stuff on tap, man. Don't worry. Let me know what you need. Let me know what your vibe is. We work with you.
All right.
But true, yeah, David. 100 more episodes. We're all gonna be here again for another 100th episode. But yeah, it's again, this episode is dedicated to everybody. All you who supported, all you've come on the show, and we do this because we love it, man. We've had fun and shoot the shit all the time.
And Seabass, we've to everybody, we've come a long way then from having 6 motherfuckers around one Blue Yeti.
Wow,
like that was a hot mess.
I remember those days.
It was a hot mess. It was a good time, but it was a hot mess.
Good time, but a hot mess.
If I could just say one thing, me and Sebastian know each other from way back Cablevision days. Okay, that's over 8 years. Okay. And he, we had this great idea. We did Geeks Unlimited and all this other stuff. And he wanted to branch out. I was like, go ahead, bro, go do your thing, whatever. And I remember being on his show. And one of the funniest bloopers was for Poops and Giggles. If you guys ever get a chance, check that out.
Remembers, look, on the couch.
On the couch. We had the Blue Yeti in the meadow.
That was the tape.
We had like chairs. We're all like, oh, yo, make sure you talk into the mic when you say your point. Otherwise, you're gonna sound too fucking far away. Yo,
thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for having me on this show. You got great people around you. Law and Tone from across the hall. I still don't believe in his mustache. I said it. Lou as well.
I got to see you in person. I haven't seen you since we went to Staten Island.
And this is a shadow, bro. This is a shadow. What are you talking about?
Okay, but real talk, Tone doesn't look like he's a Darth Sidious though with a beard.
Listen,
my mask is behind me, or else I put it on just for you, Kylo Ren.
Man, I'm a fan of the dark side, so I'll take that as a compliment.
All
day, man.
We all love Jess because she's also the other backbone. This has helped us out. She whips us into shape.
Yes,
she does.
There's so many behind the scene nuggets that you guys don't even know.
Drinking, Jess.
There's so many things that, listen, it's been, you guys know very well that, I missed a lot of episodes lately where, I've been going through stuff as well, and you guys held it down, and I appreciate you guys for that because, I truly appreciate the family that we brought together on this one. Like, it's been nothing but love every time we see each other, cracking jokes, nothing but smiles, ragging on each other, and honestly one of the best parts of my week. So I appreciate you guys for it.
Once we're all good and we'll shout it up, we'll see each other.
Oh yeah, we got a fistful of bourbon waiting for everybody. We're gonna be out there, but one day we will do this live. But again, this has been another episode of Nerds and Around. It's been your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall with the real
time. Salud. Let's drop that fire beat now.